I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on No Half Step in hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're getting educated about the show, then you click on that merchandise tab. Take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available in our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. Doesn't make a difference to us. Something like 88 different items or gimmicks with our logo on it. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so here's how you can support the Renegades of Puck. Please, you can find us on Threads. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Also, still on X for some reason, but we are still there, so you can find us, interact with us there. You can also find us on YouTube. Thank you to all of our recent subscribers. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you, especially our newest subscriber out in Memphis. We sure do appreciate you keeping an eye on the Western Front for us here in the Tennessee area. So thank you very much for that. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Renegades of Puck. Give us a subscription today. Turn on those notification buttons if you don't mind. It goes a long way to helping us out. And it doesn't cost you a single penny whatsoever. The audio podcast can be found on a number of platforms thanks to the Full Press Predators podcast, the Full Press NHL Network. You can find us on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, and like I said, several others. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform today, and you'll get the podcast that's gone from local to global in the year 2023. By the time this episode airs, we will be over 7 million downloads for the year 2023. We could not have done that without each and every one of you out there. Stick, taps, love, and respect, Renegades. To financially make a donation to the Renegades Puck, you can go to Venmo and search Renegades Puck, or you can just scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening at home, we've been able to make significant upgrades, including all of our computer systems and docking and wires and everything behind the scenes, and it's made everything about the operation so much more efficient and so much smoother. So thank you. We could not have done it without you. We were at a critical point, and we needed to get that done, and we were able to thanks to your generosity. So thank you again so much. That's Venmo. Scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Now, I know. Time to get to know how to step in hockey coverage, especially on the first night of back-to-backs. So let's get to it. Time for operation number 838. That's right. Time for show number 838. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division after 30 games. Skated a record of 17-13-0. 34 points has them 4 points shy of the first place Colorado Avalanche on home ice, which is where the Nashville Predators' next game will take place. They have a record of 10-6. They've scored 96 goals this season. They've given up 93 against. They have a goal differential of +3. Their next game is against Washington Capitals, and it's coming up real fast. Matter of fact, in just a few hours on Saturday at Bridgestone Arena. But before we put the microscope on that matchup, let's put the microscope on the Central Division itself and the updated standings. Matter of fact, just had to make one notation as Arizona just went final with another victory. So let's start at the top. Mention the Abs at the top of the division. 29 games skated. 18-9-2 is their record. 38 points is their total. They are 1 point ahead of the second place Dallas Stars at 37 points. The Winnipeg Jets are at 36. So 2 points behind first place, and the Nashville Predators in fourth place at 34 points. In fifth place, you will find the Arizona Coyotes with 30 points. The St. Louis Blues at 29 in sixth place. Minnesota has 26 points in seventh place, and Chicago Blackhawks continue to be in the basement with 19 points. I feel like they haven't gotten off that 19-point number in quite some time now. So that's your updated Central Division standings after Friday night's action. Nashville Predators picking up victory, Dallas Stars picking up victory, and also the Arizona Coyotes picking up a victory. Good night overall for the Central. Now, for the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this next back-to-back, which is the second night of back-to-backs after the game in Carolina, Tuesday versus Vancouver, Thursday at Philadelphia, Saturday versus Dallas. Then Christmas break, the 27th, we'll see the Carolina Hurricanes at Bridgestone Arena. Then the 29th of December, we'll see the Nashville Predators going off to Detroit. Against the Capitals, it's the first of two meetings this season, and they'll close out on December the 30th. As a matter of fact, the Nashville Predators will face the Caps in a second night of back-to-backs again on December the 30th when they go into Washington to face off against the Capitals after playing the Wings the night before. Now, the Washington Capitals on the season are 14-8-4, 32 points, is 5th overall in the Metropolitan Division. On the road, a record of 6-4-2. They've scored 67 goals on the season. They've given up 76. That's a goal differential of -9. In their most recent stretch of action, let's go back and talk about their previous 5. On December the 4th, it was a 6-0 loss at the Arizona Coyotes. On the 7th of December, it was a 5-4 shootout loss versus the Dallas Stars. Then on the 9th, it was a 4-0 win over the New York Rangers on home ice. On the 10th of December, a 4-2 win at Chicago Blackhawks. On the 14th of December, their most recent game, a 4-3 shootout loss at the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, for the Nashville Predators, only one injury to report at this time. It is Sherwood, listed as day-to-day late scratch going into the last game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the matchup and the rankings between these two teams with updated numbers, the Nashville Predators now averaging 3.17 goals per game. That is 16th best in the NHL, while the Washington Capitals generating 2.50 goals per game. That is 30th, almost last in the NHL. Goals against, Preds giving up 3.10 is 13th in the league. The Washington Capitals giving up only 2.85 per game. That is 10th overall in the National Hockey League. In the shots for category, the Preds are 30.3, 19th best in the league, while the Washington Capitals 28 shots on goal per game is 28th overall in the league. So Washington Capitals are a real Jekyll and Hyde team when it comes to the statistical metrics. In the shots against category, the Preds are giving up 31.1 per game. That's 18th overall in the league, while the Caps are giving up 31.2. That's 20th in the league. Power play, Predators converting 20.9%, 15th best in the league, right there in the middle of the pack. 23 out of 110 is your raw data. The Washington Capitals 9.2% conversion rate is 31st overall in the National Hockey League. That is not good. 7 out of 76 is their raw data. So not only do they not score very often on the power play, they do not get many power plays. On the penalty kill, 76.3% kill rate for the Predators is 24th overall in the NHL. 23 power play goals against on the season, but of course that unit has been playing significantly better as of late. The penalty kill unit for the Washington Capitals converting at 81%, 13th best overall in National Hockey League, 16 power play goals against. Every team in the NHL is loaded with high-skilled individuals, so we always like to go over the top 5 scorers for each team. Let's start with the visiting Washington Capitals. Tom Wilson, 10 goals and 7 assists for 17 points, leads the Caps at this point. Strome is at 12-4 for 16 points, and 12 goals represents the most in that category for the team. Ovechkin, 5 goals, 11 assists, and quite a significant offensive drought for him at this point in the season, 16 total points. Carlson, 4th on the team, scoring 1 goal, 14 assists for 15 points. McMichael, 6 and 7 for 13. Now, on the Nashville Predators side of things, Philip Forsberg continues to lead the team in scoring, as I believe he is going to do from start to finish this season. Philip Forsberg at 16 goals, that is tops on the team. 19 assists, that is tied for tops on the team. 35 points overall, though, is number 1 in scoring for the Nashville Predators, and a very impressive number, 35 points through 30 games for the leading scorer of the Nashville Predators, Philip Forsberg. Ryan O'Reilly, 13 goals on the season, 13 assists, 26 points. The captain, Roman Josi, at 7 goals and 19 assists for 26 points, tied with Philip Forsberg for the leader of assists with 19. Nyquist is at 4 and 16 for 20 points. So 4 Predators over 20 points. And Colton Sissons is at 9 goals and 6 assists for 15 points. Expected net minders for this one. We know UC Saros is going to get the start for the National Predators. Record of 13-10-0 and 9-10-7%, 2.79 goals against average after Lankinen got the start in Carolina. We'll be talking a lot more about Kevin Lankinen coming up in the next segment and beyond in this episode. Kemper expected to get the start for Washington. 6-6-2 and 8.92 save percentage at 3.13 goals against average. This Washington Capitals team is a real Jekyll and Hyde. They find ways to beat good teams. They then find ways to lose to teams that aren't so great. So I don't know what to expect for some. We've seen the Washington Capitals this season. We'll see them twice in a matter of the next, 14 days. So for the Nashville Predators, second night of back-to-backs, they went to overtime in Carolina, and we're going to talk about how that ended up resulting. So that's going to take a lot of their legs out from underneath them. Second night of back-to-backs, they're starting at minor UC Saros, seeing a trend from Andrew Brunette now. Lankinen going in the first night of back-to-backs, Saros going in the second night of back-to-backs, regardless of where they're taking place, at home or on the road. So UC Saros in net, he's going to probably be called upon the last 2 second nights of back-to-backs, Buffalo and Montreal, UC Saros has been called upon to make massive amounts of saves to secure 2-1 victories. We'll see how this goes against the Washington Capitals. But that's got you all set for the Nashville Predators to host the Washington Capitals, second night of back-to-backs. Predators' 31st game of the year already is coming up. We're not even to Christmas yet. We're already 31 games into the season. Matter of fact, 32, 33, 34 games will take place before the Christmas break this year. That is a massive, massive amount of hockey. December is the busiest month for the Nashville Predators on the calendar for number of games. It has certainly been a very, very busy time here in the bunker. That's going to do it for the preview. We've got to get to the recap. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We got to go all the way back, talk about what happened between the Nashville Predators and the Carolina Hurricanes, the Preds and the Canes. First meeting of the season took place in Carolina, and we've got the full details coming up next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to December the 15th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were in Carolina to take on the Hurricanes for the first time this season. Head coach Andrew Burnett deploys his lines in the following ways, and due to a last-minute scratch by Sherwood, that changed what the lines were initially going to be, so here's how they ended up. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, Parson and Novak and Evangelista, Trennan, Glass, and Sissons, Smith, McCarron, and Thomasina make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings are McDonough and Yossi, Luzon and Carrier, Barry and Shen. Lankinen gets the start again the first night of back-to-backs. This is the third time in a row Kevin Lankinen has gotten the start on the first night of back-to-backs in UC Saros. Then, of course, we'll get the second night. So we'll be talking about UC Saros quite a bit tomorrow. 1:54 into the first period. Lankinen coming up with a save on Slavin's first shot on goal of the game for either of the teams. 2:40 into the first period. Lankinen coming up with a save on Martinook. 3:25 of the first period. Lankinen comes up with a save on Pesci at 3:59 of the first period. Lankinen again going back to work, coming with a save on D'Angelo's redirect. The Carolina Hurricanes are all over the Nashville Predators in the first 4 minutes of this game. The Preds finally at 4:41 of the first period get a shot on goal as Ranta comes up with a save on Trennan. And then at 5:20 of the first period, it's Parsonen coming up with his sixth goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead. It was a backhander that squeaked through and trickled over the line. A little bit of a delayed reaction from everybody, but you got a chance to see the overhead, and it was clearly over the line into the net. Parsonen, good job putting the puck on net. It finds its way in. His sixth goal of the season gives the Preds a 1-0 lead. 6:09 of the first period. Lankinen comes with a save on Stahl at 8:37. Our first penalty of the game. Carries off to the box 2 minutes for hooking. Lankinen comes with a save on D'Angelo, but Nason comes up with his ninth goal of the season. A slick tip in front of D'Angelo's shot. That ties the game up at 1 apiece. Carolina gets on the board at 12:05 of the first period. So almost immediately after that, Trennan's off the box 2 minutes for tripping Tony D'Angelo. This time not getting the assist, getting the goal. His second of the season. Long shot with Bunting setting the screen. The fly-by distract, taking away Lankinen's vision and eyes just long enough. And D'Angelo ends up getting rewarded with the goal 2-1, just like that, in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. 15:03 into the first period. Scott Kiemi stopped by Lankinen at 15:37. Ranta comes up with a save on Sissons. 16:30. Ranta comes up with a save on Shen at 18:10. Burns is off the box 2 minutes for holding, but not much is happening for the Nashville Predators. As a matter of fact, they're not going to generate a single shot on goal on this power play until we get past the intermission. So we end the first period with Carolina leading Nashville 2-1. Carolina out shooting Nashville 11-7. On the clean sheet, we go 2 minutes and 7 seconds before we find our first action, and it's Ranta coming with a save on Cole Smith at 3:11 of the second period. It's Ranta coming with a save on Tomasino at the 3:47 mark of the second period. It's the captain, Roman Josi, with his seventh goal of the season, coming on a wraparound faster to the post than Ranta going behind the net. He ties the game up at 2 apiece. The captain, Roman Josi, leading his Nashville Predators back to the tie. But before they could even get that thing announced at 4:50 of the second period, it's Chatfield, his third goal of the season. It's a backdoor tap in, making it 3-2 now in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. And again, getting a backlog on the PA system here, trying to get the goals announced, but the Carolina Hurricanes just keep scoring. 5:09 now of the second period. Sebastian Aho with his 11th goal of the season. This was a one-time give and go, and Sebastian Aho is simply not going to miss when given that much time, that much space, and that much net to shoot at. Sebastian Aho's 11th goal of the season makes it 4-2 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Nashville Predators are suddenly just getting run out of the rink, and the Canes crowd is having a blast at this game. 6:07 into the second period. That's right, only 6:07 now. Sissons hits the post. Glorious chance for the Preds to get back in this one. 6:30 of the second. It's Ranta coming up with a save on Trenton. 8:06 of the second period. It's Ranta coming with a save on Luzon at 8:41 of the second period. It's Jarvis off to the box. 2 minutes for interference, putting the Nashville Predators on a power play. Unlike their previous power play opportunity, this time they do get a shot on goal, and it's O'Reilly with the rebound jam, putting the puck back into the net for his 13th goal of the season. Now, the Predators are still down 4-3 here in the second period, but O'Reilly, slick job right here. The initial shot from out high, kicked out by Ranta. O'Reilly stops it with the skate, kicks it to his blade, fires it right in to a wide open net. And again, O'Reilly's 13th goal of the season. Just a highly, highly impressive season. But again, before even that could be announced, it's Natchez at 9:51 coming in with his 9th goal of the season, giving the Canes back their 2-goal lead, now making it 5-3. And this was a brutal, brutal turnover by Alex Carrier in his own defensive end, throwing it right into the slot area, almost as if he was trying to create the low-high play for a primary assist. It was that good of a pass to Natchez, and the Carolina Hurricanes now on top 5-3 here in the second period. We flip over to the backside of the sheet, and we're still in the second period. It's 10:18. We're only midway through this game here. 10:18 in the second period. It's Barry with his first goal of the season. It was a 2-on-1. He looks off the defense and goes short side for the finish. It's Barry with his first goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators their 4th goal of the game and getting the Nashville Predators back in this one, now down 5-4 here in the second period. 11:16 of the second. It's Ranta coming with save on Evangelista, plus his follow-up, the best saves of the period, maybe the game, by Ranta. Lankinen comes up with a save on Chatfield at 13:14. At 14:52, it's Lankinen coming with a save on Sebastian Aho at 15:57. Stahl is off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Ranta would come up with a save on Philip Forsberg, but the Predators would get called for too many men on the ice on the power play. How can that happen? 4-on-4 scenario for the next couple of minutes, but absolutely nothing would happen. As a matter of fact, the period after all the excitement that happened in the first half of the period would kind of peter to its end here, and the Nashville Predators now are out shooting Carolina after 21-18, but are behind 5-4 on the scoreboard. 17 seconds into the third period, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Fost at 1:09 of the third period. It's Ranta coming up with a save on Novak. At 3:18 of the third, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Brady Shea at 5:42. Lankinen a save on Aho. At 6:34, Ranta a save on Tomasino, plus to follow up his best save sequence here of this third period. No doubt about that. At 7:18 of the third period, Lankinen comes up with a save on Stahl. At 10:09 of the third, Lankinen comes up with a save on Bunting. At 10:57 of the third period, Luzon, his 2nd goal of the season. Evangelista's feed to the trailing defenseman Luzon, who goes ahead and cashes in, tying this game up at 5 apiece. This is incredible for Luzon to jump in, beat the forwards into the offensive zone, and cash in for his 2nd goal of the season. Good job by Luke Evangelista to slow the play down and find the open Luzon. We've got a 5-5 hockey game with 9 minutes to go. 12:05 into the third period, it's Ranta coming with a save on Glass at 13:26. Out of the third period, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Bunting. That's 16:45. Lankinen comes up with a save on Natchez, and the teams are clearly now playing for the 1 point, and they're going to settle for overtime, because at 19:06 of the third period is when we find our final save of regulation. It's Ranta coming up with a save on the captain, Romaniosi, one more time. We hit the end of regulation. Each team has now earned a point. The Nashville Predators, incredibly, come back from down 2 goals twice to force overtime. Carolina Hurricanes, for regulation, outshoot the Nashville Predators 30-28. Now, just like against Philadelphia, the Nashville Predators now coming into this game, perhaps not playing their best game, but getting to overtime. And when we get to that overtime session again, the Nashville Predators win the opening faceoff. The captain, Romaniosi, takes the puck back behind his own net, stalls, delays, holds for several seconds, and then a sloppy zone breakout. But Philip Forsberg then takes the puck, heads through the neutral zone. Who looks like he's going to come in and take his patented wrist shot from the face-off circle, but instead decides to cut to the middle of the ice, outweights Ranta, takes a sick wrist shot, and just snipes for the game-winning goal in overtime for the second consecutive game. His 16th goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 6-5 win in Carolina in overtime. Carolina would outshoot Nashville 30-29 in this game, but this is one of the most improbable victories. This was a game that for the last several years you could have just turned off in the second period because the Nashville Predators were not going to come back. As a matter of fact, the Nashville Predators hadn't had a 2-goal comeback this season. They came back from down 2 goals twice in this game. This is quite an impressive performance. Philip Forsberg, again with the overtime game-winning goal. And for the Nashville Predators, again, they're doing things that good teams do, coming back on the road against a good Carolina Hurricanes team. The Carolina Hurricanes had a great winning record on home ice and very much were looking forward to get through. Whether the Preds were opportunists and took advantage of the Canes in the third period as they started to run out of their legs after playing the previous night in Detroit, or if it was the Predators just believing in themselves and having the swag and the confidence to come back, led by O'Reilly and by Forsberg and by the rest of this Nashville Predator squad, the Preds got it done. Another improbable victory for the Predators team against another very good team. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We made it through there, so it's like the Nashville Predators did with the 6-5 victory in overtime. Philip Forsberg, again, just incredible. We'll be back with analysis and so much more on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You gave us 10 minutes. We gave you the entire game. Now it's time for some analysis. Lankinen getting the start in the first night of back-to-backs. This seems to be Andrew Brunette's model for how things are going to go, or at least through the 3 back-to-backs that we know. Lankinen has gotten the start in the first game in each of those, regardless of it's been home or on the road. Now, in this game, Lankinen, 26 out of 31. 5 goals against, and this is the notation I made. He made one more save than the opponent, and sometimes that is good enough. And that's what Lankinen was tonight. He was good enough. He was one save better than the opponent. He helped get the Nashville Predators 2 points. Now on the season, he's 4-3-0, winning record, .895 save percentage, not great, 3.28 goals against average, getting to be a little bit high, but a winning record, and the coaching staff and the team clearly have the confidence in Lankinen. Now, this was not a defensive masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but we are still going to start out by talking about one of the defensemen. We're going to talk about a couple of defensemen in this one, but not for what they did in their own zone. The captain, Roman Josi, a goal and 2 assists, and won 3 points, 24-44 in time on ice. That led everyone on the Nashville Predators. The wraparound goal was just absolutely sweet, just quicker to the post than Ranta, and just a great job by the captain, Roman Josi, to really set the tone and drive to the net hard and get a goal for his Predators team, then follows up with 2 assists in there. And again, 24-44 in time on ice in the first night of back-to-backs. That's a lot of time. He also had 2 shots on net, 3:22 of power play time on ice, and did also block 1 shot in this game. It's kind of weird. Roman Josi was a +3 in this game. Nobody else on the sheet for this entire game was a +3. So the captain, Romeo, truly did have a great game out there on the rink. Now, let's talk about O'Reilly. A goal, 2 assists, 3 points in this one. Also, 3 block shots, 19:54 on time on ice. That led all the forwards in time on ice. The goal that he scored, the rebound comes off of the pad with some heat. He stops it with his skate, kicks it to the blade, fires it right back in the net like it was all instinctual, like it was automatic, like it was in one motion, like it's something he's done 1,000 times before. I can't get enough of watching Ryan O'Reilly around the net and seeing what he does and how he brings the jam. He really, truly does each and every shift. It's been a treat for us to get to watch this season. And so, again, O'Reilly with 3 points in this game, and that goal was pretty sweet. Now, power play goal for the Preds. Let's not underrate that. The Preds haven't been converting on the power play or having really particularly great power plays as of late. Parsonen picks up a goal and assist in this game. Also 2 points for Parson. He was reluctant to put the puck on net early in the season. Now he's been putting the puck on net more, and he's been getting rewarded with more. Nothing special about this right here. Flipped a backhand towards the net and had just enough on it to get through and get into the net, get over the goal line by just an inch or so. But that's it doesn't even have to get over by an inch. It just has to get over the goal line in its entirety. So for Parson, another great job by him picking up 2 points, earning the confidence of the coaching staff to go ahead and put him out there again and give him more opportunities. It was great to see him out there having some success on the rink. Of course, we're going to talk about Philip Forsberg. A goal and an assist, 2 points. The goal is the overtime game-winning goal. Again, same thing as against Philadelphia, but different. He's been scoring in so many different ways this season. Slap shots, wrist shots from out high, wrist shots from sharp angles, wrist shots from down low, backhanders, dangles, dekes, attempted flip the puck over the crossbar with your own glove and knock it in. He's tried just about every way to score this year, and he's scored almost every way this year. 16 goals, 19 assists, 35 points. I talked on the last episode about Paul Correa at the forward and the number of points at the forward position that he holds in the record for the national person. And I think that Philip Forsberg is not only going to push that this year, but I think he's going to break that. That number would be 85, and Philip Forsberg should be well on his way to another 40-goal season. I mean, just remaining healthy and staying consistent. Now, it's through 30 games. This is some of the most consistent and reliable hockey that Philip Forsberg has played in his entire career. So a goal and assist, 2 points in this game, extends his team lead 35 points, 9 points ahead of second place O'Reilly and second place the captain Romeo. So Philip Forsberg with another tremendous game on the offensive side of things, and he wins the game again. Now, overtime has become hand it to Philip Forsberg and watch him run and then go get a hug and get off to the locker room and celebrate with your 2 points. Luzon and Barry with a goal in this game, and important and critical goals. Obviously, Barry off of the rush, joining the 2-on-1. That was a surprise. Nice finish right there. Luzon also jumping up, joining the rush on the 3-on-2, trailing the play, getting in a perfect spot, crashing the slot, getting rewarded with a tying goal with the 5th goal, and it came in the 3rd period. So when you get goals from your from this number of defensemen, when you get Yossi, Luzon, Barry, 3 defensemen with goals in this game, you better take advantage of nights like that, and you better win. No, in the defensive end, it was far from a clinic in this one, but offensively, they helped dig their own way out of the hole, well, that they had helped dig, especially the turnover by Alex Carey. That's one that's going to be hard to erase from the memory. That was brutal. That's going to do it for the analysis right here. Let's hear from Stripe Digital, and let's hear from some of our good sponsors, and then we'll get back with the good cold hard numbers known as the box score, and then we'll close this thing out. It's the first night of back-to-back, so we got to get you guys rested up. We got another game coming up here in just a matter of hours with the Capitals coming to Bridgestone Arena, coming here to Nashville. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages. You are watching and listening to the Renegades of Puck podcast.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Welcome back in. When it comes to the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score, your goal scores, 3 forwards picking up goals in this game, 3 defensemen picking up goals in this game, 6 different goal scorers for the Nashville Predators. Let's start on the top of the list with the forwards. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Parson with goals in this game. Barry, Yossi, and Luzon also with goals in this game. Assists, there are a lot of them. Evangelista picked up an assist. Forsberg picked up an assist. Novak gets 1. Nyquist with 1. O'Reilly with 2. Parson with 1. Cole Smith has 1. Tomasino also with 1. The captain, Roman Yossi, has 2. That's it for the defense. Only 2 assists on the defensive side of things, but they did manage to generate 3 goals, so we'll forgive them on this one. When it comes to shots on goal, 4 was the magic number in this one. Colton Sissons and Philip Tomasino each with 4 in this game. Luzon had 3. Also, Tommy Novak had 3 shots. Philip Forsberg had 3 shots on goal as well. In the block shots category, 4 was the high again. This was by Gus Nyquist. Nyquist also got banged up a little bit in this game, but returned, seemed to finish the game just fine there in the third period. O'Reilly has 3 block shots in this game. Trennan also has 3 block shots. The defense did not do a very good job on blocking shots in this particular game. 2 would be the high by Barry and also by McDonough, and a couple of 1s. We don't talk about the 1s. When it comes to the physical category, and it comes to hits, the defenseman did a little bit better in this, though. Luzon with 4, Shen with 2. That was the high for the Nashville Predators team. Not a very physical game overall between these 2 clubs. Would have anticipated being a little bit more physical, but they were too busy scoring goals to hit each other. So, I mean, it's just simple as that. When it comes to time on ice leaders, this one is nice and easy. Ryan O'Reilly led the forwards in total time on ice, 19:54 on the first night of back-to-back. Philip Forsberg was second at 19:30, and Colton Sissons was third at 17:20. Everybody else under 15 minutes. Really good job there by Andrew Burnett, keeping the time on ice good and reasonable for most of the players. O'Reilly will be just fine, so will Forsberg. Now, Roman Yossi at 24:44. That's a pretty big number considering how limited they played in overtime at the Preds. Fighting from behind needed Roman Yossi's offensive abilities out there on the rink a lot. So 24-44, not a big surprise considering the Preds had come back from down by 2 different times and go to overtime. 20:33 by McDonough. Your next highest time for a defender was Barry at 18:44. Now when it comes to special teams, time on ice leaders, the Nashville Predators power play was 1 for 3 in this game, and it was 3:15 for O'Reilly on the ice, 3:11 for Nyquist, 3:11 for Forsberg, and 3:22 for the captain, Roman Yossi. It was, of course, O'Reilly finishing off that one successful power play. When it comes to the penalty kill, this is the first time in a while the penalty kill has really gotten worn out there on the rink. They gave up 2 power play goals against in this game, but let me still give you the time on ice PK leaders. McDonough at 2:02, Smith at 1:42, and Shen at 1:33. Some of the other numbers falling out. Oh, goaltender. I've been skipping the goaltender a lot lately. 26 out of 31 for Lankinen, 5 goals against, 25 even strength saves, 1 power play save, no shorthanded saves, and a save percentage for this individual game of .839. But the only thing that matters at the end of this game is there's a W next to Lankinen, his 4th of the season. Other numbers and some other details that fall out of the box score. Let me tell you this. The power play was 1 for 3. I think I mentioned that already. The PK, only 1 for 3. This is one of their worst performances they've had in a while. Speaking of worst performance, face-off winning percentage, 33.3%. That is brutal, considering the Nashville Predators have a pretty good, reliable lineup of centers, especially anchored by Ryan O'Reilly and Colton Sissons. 33.3% is unacceptable, and they were brutally bad in the first period against Carolina Hurricanes team. That's why the Canes were able to generate so many shots on goal early. Lankinen doing his best work in the first 4 minutes of this game. 13 hits, a very low number. The Preds need to pick up the physical game a little bit more, but they couldn't catch the Canes. The Canes were too busy scoring goals. 20 block shots, 6 takeaways, 3 giveaways. That's going to do it for the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score. Brian Baston will be back in the trenches on the next episode. All right, let's close this show out. Operation number 838. Show 838 is in the books. We're all done right here. First night of back-to-backs. The Preds do it again. This is what a wild, wild week. 2 overtime wins in a row happening both the same way, where the team opposing
closing, the Predators does not touch the puck, and Philip Forsberg finishes the game in the first minute of overtime. It's been incredible to see this week. For the Predators, they are doing things right now that good teams do, that only winning teams do. They beat the Flyers, who are a decent team, when they didn't play anywhere near their best game. And they beat the Carolina Hurricanes, who are a really good team. A lot of people's prediction to be one of the final two standing, and perhaps the best team in the Eastern Conference. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes when they were down by 2 goals 2 different times. When the Canes start generating that offense, when the winds start blowing over there in Carolina, they usually end up blowing opponents out. And in the past, the Predators would have rolled over and capitulated and not come back in this game. They came back twice from down 2 goals. And there's something about this Predators team through 30 games. We knew the rebuild was going to lead to something new, something interesting, something different. But winning, that's not something we thought it was going to lead to right away. Through 30 games, the Predators have 17 victories. They're undefeated in their overtime games. They're 4 points out of first place behind the Colorado Avalanche. They've beaten the Avalanche in front of them. They've beaten the Winnipeg Jets in front of them in the standings. They've beaten the Blues that are just behind them in the standings. So the Nashville Predators are holding their own. Splits with the Maple Leafs, splits with the New York Rangers, splits with the Tampa Bay Lightning. This team is getting the job done. This game was absolutely crazy. A 6-5 overtime game, and the Nashville Predators on the road came back from down 2 goals twice, tied it in the third, and won it in overtime against a very good Carolina Hurricanes team. You got to give it to this Nashville Predators team and Andrew Brunette, to everyone involved with the team right now. I think that they are going to continue growing. I think they're going to continue learning and possibly even getting better. The results, if they continue like this with any level of consistency, will find this Nashville Predators team in the playoffs at the end of the season. The only point of the regular season is to qualify for the playoff tournament. Right now, the Nashville Predators are working on that very well through the first 30 games of the season. That's going to do it for Operation 838. We'll be back in the bunker and back in the trenches tomorrow night after the Caps head on out of town. The Caps have another game on Sunday, so the Predators are catching the Washington Capitals on the first night of back-to-backs. The Caps are catching the Preds on the second night of back-to-backs. It's been a whole weird thing with Carolina, Washington, and Nashville this weekend. All 3 of those teams on back-to-backs catching each other all at very weird times. So the Preds take advantage of catching the Canes on the second night of their back-to-backs. Now we'll see if the Preds can avoid the same thing happening to them against this Washington Capitals team. We'll be back in the bunker breaking it down no matter what happens, so I hope you'll join us right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast for each and every one of the Renegades of Puck out there. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.